He's right behind you.
Hi, I'm Avital Ash.
I'm Jessica Richards.
And this is...
He's right behind you.
Our guest today
Hello.
is... Go ahead.
Christina Kartchner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Thank you.
We like her.
I know, I was excited that it's a guest that I've met before.
Plenty of times. We
Yeah.
were doing a writers group together
Because
with
normally
a few
this
other
is
people.
like a blind date of me with whoever Avital has picked to be the guest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I know both of you. Avital said that she liked me. I don't know about you,
I do
Jessica.
like you.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed.
We're,
All right,
we're
now I'm ready.
Instagram friends,
We
and I have a
are.
very private account.
Wow, I feel special.
You should. Well, do you want to tell us about what movie you chose and repeat that thing that you said a second ago?
Oh, yes. I was mad at Amir because he took Funny Games, and that's my most favorite movie.
Yeah.
And then someone took Scream, and I was like, that was my second most favorite movie. Okay. The Ring traumatized me when I was younger, and my mom, when she found out that I watched it, she was really upset because I couldn't sleep for days. And I feel like it should be rated R.
Yeah.
Is it
it's
not?
It's PG-13.
What the hell?
Yeah, because I was only allowed to watch movies that were PG-13.
Wow.
I just felt
No,
really...
I'm on board with you. This movie traumatized me when it came out.
It should be like an
too.
R plus or an R negative or whatever that would
R
be.
negative.
Of all
Extra
the movies
R.
we've done so far, aside from maybe The Exorcism of Emily Rose, because I hadn't seen that, and exorcisms really scare me. This movie I was scared to watch again.
I think this maybe is the scariest movie we've watched. I don't know. It's different.
I think so. It's
Because
so.
Funny Games is also really scary.
I think Funny Games is so scary.
Yeah.
I love
But this is like, this really affects me because I like TV.
Okay, wait, real quick.
And
we
I
didn't
still have
say,
a VCR and I still watch VHS tapes. This hit home.
we didn't say anything about you. What do you
Yes.
want people to know about you? You're a model, an actor, a writer. You do it all.
And I love to pet animals.
Oh, that's sweet.
I was like, wait, what else is about me? That's it.
Okay, great. You're
Thank
about
you.
to be
Yeah.
on a new show.
I am, yes. Coming in 2020. I have no idea when.
Do you want to say the name of it or anything about it?
Fine. It's called Never Have I Ever, and I'm playing 16.
Yay!
I always have to add that whenever I tell anyone. I'm like, guess what?
You pass for
That's it.
16 easily.
I'm so... It's going to
You're a
come out and
Hollywood
people are going to be like,
16.
that we can tell. That girl has wrinkles on her
Yeah,
face.
right. No, Christina's perfect looking. You guys will see.
Yeah, no, you have very young skin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Who was I just talking to? I think I told you that somebody was saying I was showing people pictures of you.
Oh,
How
jeez.
cute you are. And somebody was like, she's so dreamy. And I was like, that's the right word.
Wow.
You're just dreamy.
When you say that I'm showing pictures of you, in my mind, you'd like pull out your wallet. And you've got like wallet photos of her.
I wish. Christina, can you do that?
Can
no,
I
it's
give
just
you
Instagram.
pictures of myself?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, because I also was thinking about getting that same haircut. So I'm like, look how good it looks on her.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to do that? You
I
should
don't
do
know. I
Okay.
don't know. All right. Anyway,
All
back to the ring.
So, what is your relationship with horror? Like, did you grow up watching horror movies? Did you like them?
it. I was very scared of them growing up until I probably went to high school, and then I kind of flipped. And I was like, this is the only thing I like. Because I wasn't really allowed to watch anything scary growing up. So everything was scary to me. I always had a fear I was going to be kidnapped because
Yeah.
Elizabeth Smart, like, traumatized me because she was Mormon. And so I was like, every Mormon girl is going to get
Christina
kidnapped.
grew up Mormon, for anybody that didn't put that together.
If you didn't put that together. So that was really scary, and I couldn't sleep for my whole life. Like, I still am scared I'm going to get Elizabeth Smart.
Same.
Elizabeth
I still
Smarted.
feel like I'm going to get kidnapped.
Yeah.
And
so,
my husband's like, you're not that appealing anymore to kidnappers.
But I love, that's what I love listening to, like in podcasts, and I love watching movies that are home invasion movies because that's like my ultimate fear.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
finally getting on board with that. That's what, because I was so against watching Funny Games for that reason. And now it's like, all right, I feel braver after I watch something that scares me.
Exactly. I think that's what happened growing up was I used to always close my eyes when I was scared of something when I watched it. And then I was overcoming it by like allowing myself to watch the whole thing. And I was like, wow, Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a real adult
I
woman.
love that you say that because specifically with this movie, I found I would go back to the scariest images and like pause. And I was like, I'm looking at it. I'm desensitizing
Oh
myself.
no! I
Yeah.
still pressed mute.
I knew you would.
When I watched the video for the first time, I was home alone. And by the way, it took me 5 hours to watch this because I kept being like, I need a break. It's too much. I need to walk around or something. And then when they finally watched the video for the first time, I pressed mute because I was like, I mean, but like, what if someone calls me in a minute? Like, I just feel like maybe if I watch it but I don't listen, it's not the same and I won't get the call for 7 days.
I'm going to say I'm so glad that you find this movie scary because I was worried when I texted you that I was like, oh, everyone's going to think this is lame. Because when I rewatched it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is there a ghost girl calling on home phones? But it still scares me.
Oh, yeah. Jessica was like, I'm really rethinking this whole podcast.
Yeah.
Now that she had to rewatch The Ring.
Well, so I called my mom last night, and I was like, yeah, I have to watch The Ring for this podcast, and her direct quote was, it haunts children, it shouldn't be seen. That was my mom's memory, and I told my brother, and his response was different. He said, it's not scary, the fact that I'm 42 is scary. So I was like, okay, there's a real spectrum.
Also, if anybody listeners can hear, there's like subtle sounds of a dog sort of crying because there's the sweetest dog outside. She wants to come in, but we have work to do. Even though you are a very sweet dog.
It can sense me.
Yeah, it's about you. You said, I
Wants
like
to
to
be
pet
pet.
dogs
Yeah,
or
no.
animals. And she came up.
But I remember seeing this in theaters in like a full house or a packed house and still being really scared. And normally when you see things with a lot of people, it's more like fun because it's like a
Yeah.
group and it's not scary.
Yeah.
And I still remember it was horrifying. And then I saw it with my mom, and when we left the theater, I remember my mom was pissed because she felt like the ending had infected us somehow, and like we were gonna get the call.
I mean, that's the genius of the movie. I think
Mhm.
that's the smartest thing about it is that by watching the movie, you're watching the tape. So it sets you
Over
up
and
to feel
over
like you're
again.
going to die.
Yeah, and I don't know if you read this, but that's how they advertised the movie. They didn't even say the title or anything, but like a month before, they kept playing that clip.
Whoa.
And that was their advertisement,
was the video within
was the video.
Wow.
Yeah, they would
that's
just
good.
put it on TV without any like information.
I can't believe that's PG-13. It's
Yeah.
so scary.
I know.
It said they edited out a lot of the like when they kill Samara scenes to make it
Mhm.
PG-13 because it was like I guess that scene was more gruesome.
Oh, well, we'll have to get there because I want to hear about that. I didn't know. Before we get into specifics of this, is there something that scares you most in life, in horror movies?
Or like any images from horror movies that really stayed with you.
Home invasion. I don't really care about ghosts or demons because I think when I left religion, I was like, fuck all this.
I normally don't either, but this is sort of ghost.
It
I
is,
always
yeah.
do.
territory. Yeah.
I always feel like I'm only seconds away from being possessed.
Okay, but what's the harm in being possessed? Because no one has ever died from possession, right?
Emily Rose,
Well-
maybe the real person,
It's
arguably,
like
but
it's
probably
like
not.
AIDS. AIDS doesn't kill you, but there's something else that will, like associated because of it.
That's a good. I like that.
It's like the
Comparison.
cold. You'll get
Yeah.
a cold, and that's what kills you. I'm not a
Yeah.
doctor. I hope that was accurate. But that's how I feel. It's like the possession doesn't kill you, but it causes.
And
something
I
else
feel
to
like
kill
it's
you.
kind of like being blackout drunk, where it's more uncomfortable for everybody around you, and you don't remember it, and it's fine.
But I just don't
Oh,
want
it's
the feeling.
embarrassing.
yeah,
I guess like what really scares me about ghosts and possession and stuff is the idea that people don't believe you.
Right.
That you're like, this is happening, and your husband or boyfriend or friends are like, okay, crazy, like calm. Or like in this one where he's like, oh, it's a videotape. Like I'm not.
but I
scared.
love how she's like, "Am I like histrionic?" Isn't the word she uses, but it's that kind of thing. Like, do I overreact? Do I startle easily?
I love
No.
that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that she buys in right away. I love that because there's always this time in pretty much every horror movie where they have to be convinced, and we as an audience, because we're like, this is a horror movie, you should just believe it. It's dangerous.
Yeah, we get so frustrated. And
yeah.
I hate that feeling of
Yes.
frustration.
And then you just have to wait until the character catches up with you, the viewer. But Naomi
Yeah, I feel
Watts
like-
is right there.
As soon as she watches the short film,
Yeah.
and she gets the call, I think she's in.
yeah.
But I think
Same.
before that, she's like, this is going to be a great news story.
Right.
and this is going to be a great movie.
Which is also weird since, like, we find out that her niece died, but she's like, this is going to be a great story.
You know, it's funny. I don't see it that way. I see it as her trying to help the niece's mom. I feel like that's why she's doing it. Is the mom's begging for answers, and that's why she dives in. But then I think she's just saying to the boss, like, this is going to be a great story. Get off my back. But I don't think that's what's motivating her.
Yes.
I did think it was a good story. I thought that she was like, yeah, I'll look into it. And then when she hears, she's like, ooh.
Interesting.
Like, the reporter in me is turned on.
I see what both of you are saying. I feel like I like your explanation, Avital.
Avital 1, Jessica 0.
Well, she said
but I was going to say, it is weird that she never really mentions the sister again. And she isn't mourning or, like, asking her if she's okay.
Yeah, I did think...
She's like, take care of my son.
Right, in a dream.
You don't have a kid. Watch mine.
Yeah.
I did. There were a few moments throughout where I'm like, call her. Tell her you're on it. You know, give her some reprieve. And I like to imagine she did call.
No, because then it becomes about her, because then she's infected and she's like, forget Katie.
And her son.
Yeah.
I got my own problems to deal with.
Yeah. She doesn't seem that affected by Katie's death. Wait, okay, we're diving in.
Yeah,
but
I do want to talk about Katie's death.
Is there an image that comes to mind as most? Is it just general home invasion? Is it a movie you've seen?
Well, I think that the ring, that girl's hair.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's always stuck with me, even though, like, you know, I'm not a believer of ghosts and monsters or whatever. It's just, like, that nostalgic. I was so scared back then, so it's forever gonna freak me out.
Yeah.
And we all have short hair. I wonder if this is like
a response to Samara. Yeah, I also was really scared when I saw it in theaters, and I haven't seen it since.
In general, I think really long hair creeps me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just something about, like, I don't know why, but there's something, like, very, like, young, especially if I see, like, an adult woman with really, really long hair. There's something very, like...
She's youthful.
Yeah, why is... Well, almost, like stunted.
Past their butt, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a stunt thing of, like, why is your hair so long?
Yeah.
Why aren't you taking care of yourself?
And then when it's wet, it's even scarier. Like,
That's so true.
The first shot, I love that house. I'm like, I want to live there for a rainy week.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Jessica probably hates this house. I love it.
It looks cold.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Well, and it's like supposed to be set in Seattle, which is where all my family's from.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt very, like, familiar to me. But I remember seeing this for the first time. I was so excited by the opening because I'm a huge General Hospital fan. And this was right, like, a year or two after Amber Tamblyn had left General Hospital.
Oh, I didn't know she was on that.
And I remember she was Emily Quartermain. And I remember watching this in the theater, like a packed house, and being like, oh my God, she made it. Like, I'm so proud of her because I just love my soap opera actors.
You do. Yeah,
and she's great.
And the first line is, I hate television, which is a great opening line.
Oh, yeah.
That whole scene is really scary.
Yes. Where, like, she keeps tricking her.
Yes.
I realized that this movie has they, like, checkmark every scary trope.
Yeah.
Like, we can go through it, but every single thing that happens, I'm like, that's another scary movie trope.
Is one, like, two girls home alone? Is that what you're thinking? Or, like, parents out of town?
Yeah, and also, I mean, they do this in Scream, but, like, where they trick you, where they're just, like a person will, like, pretend that they're dying and then laugh. And then it's, like, a minute later, they die.
Right. I'm on board with it, but I do think it's a funny thing that Amber Tamblyn's acting is the same when she's tricking her, and then when she actually looks scared and her friend's like, there really is a tape. It's like, but she's making the same face she did when she was tricking you.
Yeah.
But whatever. We'll talk about friendship.
It's like the movie starts and within 5 minutes we have all the information.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there is a tape. I saw the tape with my friends. It'll kill you in 7 days. Like, they throw out so much information right away that it's just like, oh, okay, I'm on board. I know everything that's happening now.
Yeah, it's true. I will say by the end of the movie, I'm like, how did she hear this rumor? Why is this coming up now?
Right.
You know?
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, who?
That Katie is like, there's this tape, and you watch it, and 7 days later, but nobody they know, they've only just seen it, and nobody's died yet. So, like, where has she heard this rumor?
Because it's been around. I'm going to I don't know. But I would think because it's like, it's not that far from where they live. So it's not like it happened in Michigan or something. It's like only an hour or so, 2 hours away.
Right.
So I feel like it's in the air of like the tape has been going around. It's like that sickness that you hear about or something. Like,
right. But I feel like
it's an urban legend.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like the timing of it and it being new, where Katie knew about it and Amber Tamblyn, or no, Katie's the cousin.
Becca's the friend.
Becca's the friend.
Yeah.
Thank you. That Becca would have heard it, but not Katie, is that it's like a new story. And that it would almost make more sense if like somebody else in the high school had just died or, you know, something that preceded this.
I don't know. I feel like I was probably a Becca, and I was so into urban legends and stuff that I would have known about it.
All right. Okay.
I was reading my I have urban legend books that before the internet I used to get
That's
all
amazing.
that stuff because I was so into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would know something like that. I'm still scared to flash my lights at night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being so scared of the image of her dead. And then when they show it only for a second, I was like, oh, this is, or like it zooms in on her face when she dies. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's not that scary. And then I was like, oh, it's later.
I
when
also
they
think
flash back to it.
Yeah, and the placement of it when you finally see what her face looks like.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
placement is so, because it's in just a normal scene
Right.
with the mom and her talking, and then it's like
Yeah.
flashes to the face, and the music's so loud, and then it cuts back so quick that
Yes.
you don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And she's like in a closet.
Yeah.
How
It's
did she
a
get in
very
there?
creepy image.
Yeah. I
And
want to know what
especially
it,
that sound. Like, they really get
yes.
you.
Did you mute it, Jessica?
No, because I didn't know it was coming. Because it's so fast.
The sound really gets you.
Yeah.
Sound design is like everything in a horror movie.
But
Absolutely.
the cinematography in this is so good.
It
The
is
images of her
beautiful.
like walking back to her room, and there's water under the door, and you can see her reflection in the water,
yeah.
and like the drips from the door handle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like scared and like turned on at the same time by how good the cinematography is. Like I was so excited about that part of it.
I
Yeah.
also like that as it pushes in on her face, her mouth opens, but you don't hear her scream. Like that's an interesting choice because usually the scream would make it scarier, but somehow the
No,
absence
because we
of the
get
scream,
like the best movie screen ever at the end. They're like, no, hold on for Naomi Watts' scream, because that scream at the end.
when she sees
Noah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we don't see his face. We see it later.
yeah.
But we don't see it. We just see her, and it's like,
Yeah,
you
that's
have
a
to
great
kill
scream.
this
Yeah.
with your scream.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
hard for me. I can't do it. I got to get better at that. As
At
we're doing
screaming?
this. Yeah, I feel like I'm a good actor, but not. I'm scared to be scared.
Well, I've seen so many horror movies, and rewatching this, I was like, I think that's the best scream I've ever seen.
It's really a
It
good
is a really
scream.
good scream.
I want to
And it's
go watch
long.
it again.
It's like
Yeah.
a long scream.
I'm gonna watch that moment again and again and study it. The first time we meet Naomi Watts' character, we don't even see her yet, but she's walking down the hall and she's like yelling on the phone, and then the person hangs up and she's like, Harvey, which I think is funny because Amber Tamblyn being so outspoken about like Harvey Weinstein and stuff,
Oh.
right? Am I making that up?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
She's outspoken about everything. I love
Yeah,
her.
sure.
Yeah.
I still like that opening scene, though, the stuff where it's like the TV turns on and then she has to turn it off, and then it turns on
Yes.
again, and then you see the little like kind of clear reflection thing. It's
Mhm.
all so scary
Yeah.
that I think that whole first thing I think is maybe the scariest part of the movie to me.
Interesting.
I read that them wearing school uniforms is a tribute to the original Ring movie from Japan.
Oh, cool.
And, like,
Ringu,
they were
which I
wearing-
haven't seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and you told me that I had no idea.
Yeah, I was like,
wanna
do you want to
watch
do
it
the
now.
original or the American remake? Christina was like, I didn't know it was a remake.
Yeah.
And it was a book.
Yeah, I never saw the original.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
But in the book, it's about smallpox.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
What?
Heard
Hmm.
meaning I read it.
I didn't know that. Something so creepy that I think is a weird accident, and I don't mind it, but on the board in the classroom when she's walking up, it says, today we will have morning meeting, take a walk to observe trees, read and write, play outside, rest. But it's written in like a very childish scrawl, but it's clearly supposed to be like the teacher wrote it. So why does it look like it's written by a child? I feel like
Oh, I
that's
didn't
really
even
weird and
notice
creepy.
that.
I did. The funniest part of the movie, I think, is when the teacher shows her the drawings and she's looking at it as if it's this like, you'd think that he'd done this amazing artist's rendition of her likeness, because she goes, that's his cousin. That's Katie. But it's stick figures.
Yeah, stick figures in the ground.
Yes.
Even what's hard for me to realize that it was a body in the ground. It was like just an air bubble.
Yeah.
But with
Right. I got that it was a body in the ground at least, but I was like, still, she says it.
But that's
so
also how I
confidently.
felt about, like, you're like, she really wanted to give closure to her sister. And I was like, she doesn't give a shit about Katie. She sees a body in the ground. She's like, yep, that's the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
But the teacher's like, well, his cousin just died. And then you'd think, yeah, that's probably her. It's in the ground. But instead she's like, yep, that's Katie. That's her. Like, as if it looks like her.
I just love the setup for Naomi Watts as this imperfect mother
Yes.
who's late and is like, look, the cousin died. I'll find childcare. Like, thanks for watching my kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know.
And-
I love that she's kind of a bad mom.
Yeah.
And she's so hot.
Yeah.
She's so hot.
Like, you look at Naomi Watts now and you're like, she doesn't age. She's so pretty.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, I take that for granted. And then when I was watching this, I was like, she is so smoking hot in this movie.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. She was 34.
Wow. Also, the only times that I can think of seeing Naomi Watts in her underwear, which should be hot, are in scary movies. In this,
Yeah.
and in,
Funny games.
yeah,
Yeah.
And also in Mulholland Drive.
Oh yeah, it's been a
Oh,
while,
right,
but
yeah.
I buy that. Whereas there's nothing scary about Naomi Watts in her underwear.
Isn't she in her underwear in The Impossible?
Oh, I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
Because they're like out in the tsunami.
I believe
Oh
you.
right, I remember what movie that is, but I didn't.
So I feel
see
like
it.
maybe I'm making this up. I feel like she had to take off clothes to like help somebody with a wound or something.
Sure,
I have to take off my clothes to help people with things all the time.
do it. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm wounded. Do you guys think Noah's hot? I think he's so hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I read that he was Britney Spears' boyfriend in Toxic.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't remember
Yes.
that. Amazing.
Oh, I forgot that.
I kept wanting his name to be Aiden and the little boy's name to be Noah.
I did too.
because I was
Yes.
like, Aiden is such. Maybe I'm Sex and the City, but I'm like, Aiden is such a hot guy name.
Yeah.
he should have been Aiden.
I agree. It's such a weird thing, but
Because
I
that
feel the
kept
same
throwing
way.
me off in my notes. I kept wanting to call him Aiden,
Yeah.
and the little boy calls her Rachel.
Yes.
I love that.
Me too. I think there's like one moment where he refers to her as mom or mommy,
Yes,
right?
when
Yeah,
he's in
when
the
he-
car with Noah.
And
Then he calls her mom.
Yeah. Why? What does that mean?
I think there's something about him with her being like, I am an adult in this relationship.
Mhm.
And then when he's with his like actual father, he's like, she's my mother.
Maybe it's also trying to create a sense of family and like
Or maybe
wanting-
leaving room for him to be the adult.
Right.
Like,
Ooh.
I've been filling this role.
Oh.
You step up now.
Yeah.
The
that's
way that they
interesting.
give you that information, I think, is so flawless. It's one of my favorite things about this movie is that they never call out a romance. You just see another girl kiss him on the cheek, and you see it get sort of weird. And then eventually, when she's like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. When she's like, he watched the tape.
Our
and he's like,
son!
who? Yeah, she says, our son. I was like, whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
that scene, the first scene between Noah and Aiden, where they're walking in the rain and they meet each other on a sidewalk and they stop and they stare and then they just go past each other, is the weirdest setup for like their father-son.
Yeah.
I thought that it was that, I also have to keep thinking about which one's which now, that Aiden didn't know that Noah was his dad, but then later
But
it
it's like,
seems
no,
like
he clearly
does.
knows. Yeah.
They just don't say hi to each other?
Yeah.
That's what I was assuming. I was assuming that he had an estranged relationship with his dad, and he was just like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, because later the dad has that horrible speech that's like, look, I didn't have a good dad. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I could be a dad.
Yeah.
That's it.
See ya.
Which it's like, oh, how nice for men to just be like, you know what? I'm not going to be great at this. Like,
I'm
Peace
gonna
out.
take a step
whereas
back.
like
Yeah.
Naomi Watts is clearly not great at this, but she had to
Yeah.
step up.
Yeah.
I love to
So
me, the
convenient.
embodiment of her not being a great mom is when he's like making his own lunch and then he's like, I'm going to school now.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
to
oh.
me, the saddest part like of that was he laid out her funeral outfit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, what an adult
I know.
thing to have to do to lay out clothes for your mom to wear to a funeral.
And in the moment before when she's like, have you seen my black dress? I was like, why would he have seen
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, does he usually pick out your
Yeah.
clothes?
Do you think he does the
Yes.
laundry? Because he's like, it's a little wrinkled.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my
I feel bad
gosh,
for
me
him.
too.
Also, I'm in love with him, and I looked him up, and that actor is a genius. He
Oh, really?
he graduated UCLA at age 13,
What?
Mm.
and then did his grad school at Harvard.
Oh my god.
He's really good in this movie.
He's amazing.
He is. I don't know why what sticks out to me so much. I don't want to jump to the end, but I think the last line is what happens to them, which we'll get to. But the way he says the word them, he goes, them. What happens to them? I don't know why. It felt so distinct to me. It's like the way he talks is just so endearing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would watch him forever.
Yeah. He's so good.
That scene, though, with the drawings, where they're like, yeah, that's Katie. She died a few days ago.
Oh,
and the teacher's like, really? Because he's been drawing these since last week.
Yeah, it's such a
That
great,
is so
creepy.
creepy.
Yeah.
Yes. Ugh.
Also, is that just because his cousin told him that
I think
she was going
so.
to die?
But how did she know?
And why
Because
was
of the
she...
phone call.
But the
Yeah.
phone call just says 7 days. It doesn't say 7 days until you die.
Yeah,
And she
but then
doesn't
there's
seem
that
like she
rumor.
believed it until
Here's
her
Yeah.
friend
okay,
told
here's
her.
what I have to say to all that. Is because it is true that part in the beginning where she plays the trick is like the complicated part of this. Because it's like, well, if you believe it, why are you joking about it?
Right.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem like she does believe
But
it.
I think she does believe it because she keeps scrawling out people's faces.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
we find out later is like an uncontrollable thing.
Yeah, it's like a tick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like she's telling Aiden she's going to die. We know from watching Naomi Watts that like you start getting visions and all these like creepy things start happening. So I think
Right, and we
I
find
think
out when she
she-
looks through her notebook that she is having these creepy visions. And
Yes.
she's like, why can't I get this out of my head? And draws a horse or something.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that she does believe it. I think that
Maybe
scene
it's a
with the
defense
friend
mechanism
Yeah.
where she's pretending to try
That's
and
what I
talk
would do.
herself out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, making jokes. Too.
because then as soon as anything happens, she is freaking out.
Well, but those things are really freaky.
No, I mean
The
like
TV's
that
like
night.
turning on and
Yeah.
there's water for no reason.
The fridge just being like the
Oh,
door swinging
yeah.
open.
Where is Becca as this is happening?
She's upstairs. Well, you see that when so they go downstairs and the phone rings. And they go downstairs to answer it.
Yeah.
Which I wrote, this is the scariest phone call since Scream. But Becca answers it. It's Katie's mom. And then Becca, you see
Katie
her.
answers it. It's Becca's mom, I thought.
No, Becca's
the other way
friend.
around? Okay.
They're at Katie's house.
Right.
Yes.
So Katie answers it.
No, Becca
Okay,
answers
okay.
it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Katie's
she,
scared. Okay.
yeah, she makes a face and she just,
Right.
and she just
then it's her
hands it
mom.
over.
Okay, you're right.
And then she's like, oh, hi, Mom. And Becca kind of like laughs because she's like, I got you back, kind of.
Mhm.
And then you see her, as Amber Tamblin's on the phone, you see Becca head back upstairs.
Right. But when Amber Tamblyn heads upstairs, this is a different room that she's going into?
No, she's in the
She's-
bedroom.
When she sees the water.
Yeah.
Is that the bedroom or the bathroom?
That's the bedroom. That's Katie's bedroom.
But then
Then where is Becca?
Exactly.
Becca's in there.
when
because-
when she dies?
Yes. That's why Becca's
Oh,
in the mental institution.
Yeah, because
Because they
saw
say
that.
later,
how
they're
come we
like,
don't
seeing
see
your
her?
friend die doesn't make you go crazy. We don't see her in that scene, but she's in there.
Where is she?
She's probably behind. I mean, like we only see when Katie walks in, we see Katie in the door. We don't see the rest of the room.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's weird that we don't just see her in a corner or something.
I don't know. Maybe if you watch it again, you'll see her really tiny in the corner.
Maybe.
That was how I always interpreted it because we see her go back. We see her walk back down the hallway towards the stairs, and then later in that scene with like Adam Brody, who I forgot was in
Yeah,
there. God,
For
he's so
2
hot.
minutes.
Yeah,
He's
it's
so
not
hot.
even.
He's so hot.
He's in it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
so hot. I was like, let's follow his character. But the friends are talking and they're like, she's in a mental institution. Like, there's that weird line where it's like watching your friend wouldn't make you go crazy, or watching your friend die wouldn't make you go crazy. And she's like, well, it was more than that. It was the tape.
I think I would go
But she didn't
crazy if
see
I
the
watched
tape.
my friend die.
No, but I mean like the tape being like there's more to the story than just watching your
Right.
friend die. There was a whole thing.
Well, if she was in the room, that also helps me with the, like, because I was like, why does Becca know 4 days? I'm like, she didn't watch the, like, all of a
That
sudden
was
she's
weird.
like powerful and
Yeah.
magical. It's weird. But I guess if she was there and had this, maybe she's like touched by Samara. Or
I love
something.
the scene of Becca walking through the hall and they have to walk with a curtain thing so that she
Why?
doesn't see the TV in the room.
Oh,
'Cause she's so
that's
scared
why.
of TVs.
I was going to ask, why are they hiding her?
They're hiding the TV because they
That
show
makes
like they
sense.
do all those shots of the TV in the room and then they show Becca.
I didn't get it. Ah,
because she's so scared of TVs now.
right.
Don't blame her,
Don't blame
dude.
her.
If I saw some woman come out of a TV, I would.
I don't
same
think
feeling.
my theory, who knows, but I thought she doesn't come out of the TV until she's set free from the well.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Oh, I don't think so.
We only see her able to come out of the TV after they bury her, and Aiden's like, you shouldn't have helped her.
Well, here was my interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if people know, let us know. But my interpretation was so when Amber Tamblyn walks back into the room, the TV is on the well. And then that's what happens later to Noah, is the TV turns on and it's on the well. And then the reveal, because there's water everywhere when she's going in, and that's what happens to Noah too, is water starts coming out of the TV.
Right.
So I thought that it's on the well, meaning like she's about to come out of the well like she did for Noah. We just don't see it because that's the reveal later. Is like you're watching it and you're like, well, I don't get it. What killed her? And then when we see the one with Noah, you're like, oh. And then he's got the same face that she had.
Yes. But we also find out that the other two people that watched the tape with her, 2 of the 4 died in a car accident, and 1 was made to look like a suicide. And then for Amber Tamlin's character, like her heart stopped. Like it might have been, I don't know, pure fear, but obviously it's more than that because her face is so distorted. So I thought that they all sort of died in different ways, but that she just had the power to actually climb out of the TV once they recovered her body.
I don't know.
For interpretation.
I think that we just don't know. But I read that the car accident, I heard that it's the window is the reflection of a TV.
Yeah, that's what I read too.
Oh, interesting.
Because at first I was like, that doesn't make sense. How
the window's a reflection.
Well, because then
I
I figured for him, he might have, the guy on the 7th floor who jumps off the balcony, Josh. I thought for him, if she's coming out of the TV, he might have like been backing up and like just fallen backwards,
or maybe behaved kind of like the horses did. Just
Jesus,
like suddenly suicidal. I know that seems crazy.
But that's in my brain. I kept thinking like he's probably backing up and he just falls over.
Yeah, I could see that. It's weird to me that she never interviews his family, but maybe there are deleted scenes.
I heard there's a lot of deleted scenes from this. Yeah,
there's a whole thing with Chris Cooper that got deleted.
Yeah, about him being a serial killer.
Yeah, who she was like doing a story on, and then at the end,
wait, do we see Chris Cooper?
No, he's not in the movie. That whole thing got cut. I saw they thought it was
Women
too
last night, and
disruptive.
he was in it, and I was like, "Am I combining both?" I watched them both yesterday. That's so weird.
Yeah, it was like he was someone on death row, and she was doing a news story on him, and that he's like pretending to be reformed, but he's really like a bad person. And then at the end, she gives him Aiden's tape to watch.
Interesting. It seems like it was smart to cut it.
I think so too.
Yeah,
but I am interested to see those
because it's a tight movie.
Yeah,
we don't really veer off course.
No,
and that would have like
the horses almost feel like something separate, but they do weave it in so well that it works. Like there's a part of me that's jealous where I was like, even if I could write a script this tight, I would be like, the horses are extraneous, but they're not. It works so well. And Brian Cox is I love him.
Oh my gosh, just randomly in there.
Oh, he's so good.
He's so good. I'm in love with him.
Me too. And I love the setup of like you think that he killed her and he didn't.
Yeah.
He's just like a loving husband.
Well, it starts out, so the mom of Katie is like, can you figure out what happened? Because none of the doctors can explain why my daughter died of her heart.
And presumably that's Naomi Watts' sister, but I guess we don't really know. It could be her husband is the brother.
I assumed they were sisters because they look alike.
All right.
And she has no contact with the other people.
Yeah.
They do look alike. I like how
they have the same shade of blonde hair.
She asked the husband if he was okay, and it's like, his daughter died like 2 days ago. Of course he's not okay.
Yeah. And then it's funny the way the wife is almost complaining, like, he doesn't move, he just sleeps. It's like, it's been a week.
Yeah.
But so then that leads us down this like, of they all died at 10 p.m. She finds out that Katie went to the mountain shelter inn or something with her friends and her boyfriend, and they watched the tape. And then all 4 of those people died at 10 p.m. the same night.
Yes. And she gets photos developed, and she sees.
Yeah, it's like a straightforward, for a while, this feels like a straightforward, like, we're writing a news story kind of. Like, it's like the Pelican Brief or something. It's like a movie where there's this mystery and we're going to solve it. And it doesn't necessarily feel like a horror movie. I love that it kind of, like, takes you down this reporter's journey, and then, like, the last 30 minutes is like horror.
Oh, I felt like it was horror all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, no. To me, it felt like a Dean Koontz, or not Dean Koontz. Who's the one? Tom Clancy? Who's the one that did, like, The Firm and...
Oh, yeah.
John Grisham.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or The Rainmaker.
Right,
Pelican
that was John
Brief.
Grisham.
It's
yeah.
Like those law
movies didn't feel that way to
90s.
me. I guess because, and part of why I never bought that it was about the story is, like, and maybe this is too practical and the movie wasn't operating on this level, but there's part of me that feels like they're not going to be able to publish a ghost story. You know what I mean? And that's clearly what this is. Or like a haunted tape story.
Right.
That's too hard of a sell.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
also-
don't know. I feel like you could print a story that's like urban legend ? And like isn't like it's an interesting story about these 4 kids dying at the same time and like people are blaming a tape and like where did the tape come from and
But I think
where
her,
did where
her
do urban
perspective
legends
wouldn't
start?
be people are blaming a tape. It would be, hey, these 4 kids died because they watched a tape. That's the truth.
Oh, I felt like the story was like where did the tape come from?
Eventually, but then you still have to get everybody on board that this is like a murderous tape.
I would have read the story.
What are you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I think that it was meant to be a horror movie throughout it, just because they purposely made the coloring
Yeah.
It's
Like
all green.
green like it's a TV.
Yes. And the opening makes it so horrific.
Yeah,
It sets the tone.
yeah.
But I love the coloring.
I love the coloring.
I love that it rains the whole movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's
makes
like
it-
misty the whole movie. There's certain
Yeah.
scenes where it's like flat out raining, but there's always like a misty feeling.
Yeah, it always feels rainy even when it's not raining.
It's always
And I'm into
damp.
it. I
Yeah.
want to go there. Yeah, definitely damp. Like it feels like you'd breathe in and it would be wet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she goes to the Mountain Shelter Inn where she finds out that they all watched the tape to see what's going on. And
Mhm.
then she finds the tape. So when this movie came out, I was still recording soap operas on tapes because this was like pre-DVR. And I would go to school, so I would set a timer to record my soap operas. And I remember watching this and being like, God damn it, I have so many blank tapes that don't have
Oh.
writings on them. Like,
That's so perfect.
I'm going to have to watch these.
That's so perfect for how to scare you.
And also, if you stop the video, are you still gonna be haunted?
Yeah,
You
I
have
wondered
to
the same
watch it.
thing. Or if you just watch the first few seconds of it.
Yeah.
Or if you watch it without sound, like I did.
yeah. And does it still affect you?
I love when she shows up at the inn that they have the guy doing a bad card trick.
Mhm.
It's just like such an easy way to breathe life into what would otherwise be a very transactional exchange.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice? I thought this was weird when there's that sweet moment where the kid makes a drawing because his dad tells him to give to his mom. But it looks like one of them is a dog. Did you guys notice that?
Oh,
I was so
now that
confused
you-
by it. There's like these 2 rings on the edge of the person's face that look like dog ears, and I didn't understand what that is. Here.
Look at, he's
I
not
took
an
a
artist. He's
picture.
a child.
I'll include this. But like, what is that?
Oh, that's hair.
That's her hair.
Why does it look like dog ears?
Because it's hard to draw
Can you
hair.
guys- are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? That's not
Yeah,
hair.
that's hair.
Hair. You just draw like straight lines.
Look at, I don't know why you're being so mean to a kid.
I'm
He
not
lost
being
his
mean, I'm
cousin, and now you're
confused.
I
criticizing
think
his
that's
artist.
beautiful artwork.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
her
it's
blonde hair.
confusing.
Creative.
Why is that blonde hair? He's a smart kid. He's a genius. He graduated at 14.
No, that's
and
the
went to
real
Harvard.
version, not Aiden.
13. I know, but why? That's a dog. All right, this will be
It's-
included for you guys. We'll
It's
do a
not
little
a
swipe
dog, it's
thing,
hair.
and you can see. And the only other thing that makes sense to me is that they're like hands covering her eyes, but it's
Also,
not that.
wait, in that drawing, is there a house? Is that what they were referring
Yeah,
to?
there's the house.
Yeah, he draws them
'Cause
at
I've
the
never
house.
understood. I didn't see the house in the drawing.
I'm with you in that I saw the house, but when she's like, it's the same house, I'm like, I don't know, it kind of just looks like a house. But okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm the only one who thinks it looks like a dog, but weigh in.
Yeah, I
comment.
wasn't a good
on our
artist, so I
post.
used to draw like that. I don't get what the big deal is.
Yeah, I used to draw
They just look like
hair
distinct
straight
ears.
up.
That makes
I didn't understand how to draw it
I
down.
couldn't draw things, so I would, for hair, I would just do squiggly lines all over
that's
the place.
better. That's curly
And
hair.
my mom was like, I don't have curly hair. Why are you drawing my hair like that? My hair is
I
clearly
thought everybody
straight.
just did like lines, and then that was hair as like the most rudimentary hair. Not 2 big circles that look like dog ears.
It's
I used
a
to draw
hard-
dogs all the time too, so
It's
that
a
was
hard
like
concept.
Yeah, this really bothers you. I'm not a good artist. I buy it.
I was like, you know, as quickly as I was drawing stick figures, I was drawing dogs because I love dogs, and they always had those
Dogs are too
floppy
hard
ears.
to draw. I could never do it.
I'll include my stock drawing of
Yeah,
a dog.
please do.
Fine, that's just me.
Okay, she watches The Ring. Can we talk about the scary video? Because
Yes.
all these images, as soon as it came on, I was like, I remember all of this, and it's all haunting.
Yeah.
The stuff with the woman brushing her hair in the mirror.
And then there's like fingers that are moving around like maggots. It looks like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
And then do they turn? Wait,
The
what is
ladder,
that?
just a ladder on a wall with
Yeah.
no context.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, also, what was those swimming things? Was it maggots first, and then
Oh,
it
it like
changes
turns into people.
It looks like people swimming.
Yes, that
and
one
she,
is really
and
creepy.
she jumps off she has the most beautiful
Yeah, she
swan
like
dive
falls.
off of
Yeah.
the cliff
Yeah.
where she like grabs her it almost the dress is going under her arms. It's
Yeah, she's like in the
Gorgeous.
Jesus on the
That's how I
cross
want it.
pose, and she just
what a way to go.
flips. Yeah.
but it's all scary.
Yeah.
The one with her brushing her hair on the mirror, I think, is the scariest to me because it's the tiniest little like frame. Clearly not like you would have your like armoire or whatever set up to brush your hair there.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can't see the reflection of the person who's filming it.
Right.
It's just a blank wall. And she's like, and then like, doesn't she look at, one of them is like she sees you in the mirror.
Yeah.
So like one
And then
she's
the
just
next shot
brushing,
is
and then the
the
next one
little
she's
girl.
like looking at you through the mirror.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
creepy.
It is. Oh yeah, the video is so scary, and I think it's so much scarier because of the implication. You feel like I just watched this, I'm gonna die now.
And the whole room turns red because it's like sunset, but there's that big red tree
Oh yeah,
with the leaves. So like Naomi Watts, the whole movie has been green, and then when she's watching it, the room is like turning red.
that part looks beautiful. I didn't totally understand why that tree or that lighting is so significant.
It's because that's God. See, I feel like I'm explaining this, and then I'm like, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. But all I took was like that was where the well was where she died, so the tree was significant because it leads them back there. Like the daughter had burned that tree into the wall.
Right. So it's just a landmark.
Yeah, I think it's just to be like, we got to go back to where we started.
Yeah. Again with the tree drawing where she's like, I know that tree. I was like, I don't know. This just looks like a tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of things where I'm like, that just looks like a normal
Yeah.
house tree.
I felt like the drawings were very non-specific and then given a lot of credit.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It was a great movie.
I bought it because the movie was so green. And there's we don't see anything else like that throughout the whole like landscape.
Yeah.
So for her, I think that's why like the room turns red, and it's like they put so much work to be like, see, this is a very specific tree.
So when they do find that tree on the wall, I'm curious where you guys land on this because
I thought it was blood
oh
at first when they're like ripping up the wallpaper.
Yeah, I did too.
oh interesting. I didn't. I could tell it was like a burn. Something.
How did she burn
burned
it in?
She's magic.
Yeah, isn't
Okay.
that what she does? She burns images.
Yeah, right. And
Okay,
she grabs
right.
you, and then you have
Yeah.
a burn,
Yeah.
like Naomi Watts has on her arm, and then she discovers her son has one.
Ugh.
Okay, so when you find that little room, I'm torn. By the end of the movie, it seems, and we will discuss, but it seems like they sort of tee it up like Samara's a victim, and then later it's like, oh no, she's an evil child.
Oh, the switch at the end, I love.
I love it too. Oh, it's so great.
I love it so much when
shouldn't
you're
have
like,
helped her.
everything is happy again. The movie's ending, and then you look and it's like, there's 20 minutes
Yep.
left.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. But so in hindsight, having known how it shakes out, and arguably Samara's just a bad egg, are you like, this is horrifying when you see that she's made to live in the barn above the horses? Or are you like, this is romantic. Brian Cox loved his wife, so he moved the evil little child to try and help her? Because I feel like it's kind of romantic.
I
Oh.
didn't think much of it.
No, yeah, I didn't either. I thought more of like, what a nightmare to get saddled with this demon kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, where do I fucking put her? I don't want her in my house.
Right.
Yeah, and then the whole town thinks that you're an evil person because you're mistreating a child, but no one knows
But
she's evil.
the town also,
But
I
then
feel
they,
like, got it.
They found out. They're like that lady that's very cryptic. She's like,
Yeah.
everyone gets a cold here.
Yeah, when you live on a small island, everyone gets a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
She's
love
like,
that part when Naomi Watts is like, look,
with
lady,
all due
what the fuck are you
respect,
talking
what the hell does that
about?
mean? Yeah, it's great. So do you guys think that she's just evil? Like she just was
Yes.
born evil?
Yes.
I think so.
And what?
So I got a little bit confused
Mhm.
on that. So they go down this whole like journey to figure out where the tape came from. It's coming from, and she finds the lighthouse. She finds Anna Morgan, who had this daughter that was adopted. But then when Noah goes through, no. When she goes through the records in Brian Cox's house, who is the dad, she finds a birth certificate
Yes.
that said a live birth. So then I got confused because
Yes,
I was like,
really want to know what you
whoa,
guys
whoa,
think. Is she
whoa.
adopted or are they pretending that she's adopted?
I thought that meant they were pretending she was
But
adopted.
why?
Oh.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Because then I thought maybe it's like a Rosemary's Baby situation where they go off one winter and the wife gets pregnant somehow and it's like
right.
evil.
And
Mhm.
that's why he's like, she was never meant to have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, on my research, it does say that like they try to talk about this in the second movie about like she was impregnated by, I don't know if you want to include this since it's not in this movie, but it
Yeah.
said like she was impregnated by like an ocean demon. And that's why it's like all about water.
Oh, interesting.
And the horses are like the horses are drowning themselves, which is the most
That's
insane thing.
Yeah.
True, that makes more sense because I read the same thing and I was like, that's so ridiculous. But yeah, if you put the
Them
water
together.
things
Yeah, the idea
together.
that like the horses are breaking out of the barn, running to the beach so that they can drown themselves is
Yeah.
just
That moment when she's on that boat, what do you
Ferry
call it?
boat.
Ferry boat, and it keeps like insisting on petting the horse, and he obviously
Seriously.
doesn't like it. I'm like, leave him alone. You're upsetting the horse. Walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me
Yeah,
so
because what's the
mad.
point of that? Why is
Yeah.
You know
she
what
trying
that
to-
reminds me of?
She's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's almost like date raping somebody.
Well, I have a rescue dog, Bailey, who's terrified of people.
Mhm.
And I will say to people, oh, she doesn't like people. She's scared. And people will always goddamn say, oh, no, I'm great with dogs. And
I
that's what
hate
this
that.
felt like, where
Right.
she's like,
No,
no, I'm
horses
great
love
with
me.
horses. And
Yeah.
it's like, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, let it go. It's not you, it's the horse.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah. That to me was so heartbreaking seeing it run off. Also, I wondered how they shoot it. Normally, I would have I just have not had time this week, but I really wanted to read up on how they did that because it didn't look like special effects. And especially
They
after having
probably
done.
killed the horse.
Oh, I
They
read they
definitely
had
did.
several different horses that were, it's like, you know,
That they
for Pet
killed.
Cemetery,
Oh, Jesus.
where you have like a bunch of different animals and they're all trained to do one thing.
Right.
So it's like this horse is trained to run out of the trailer. This horse was trained to jump over Naomi
that stresses
Watts.
me out. I wish it was just digital, but it does look very good.
Oh, it looks so good.
Mhm.
And it's as soon as the horse like breaks out, I always get nervous because I'm like, oh, I hope someone sees that you didn't let it out. It's like not even the point of that scene, and I'm
Right.
stressed out of like they're gonna think you're a jerk.
Oh, wait.
But it's so scary. The horse is like freaking out, and then it runs straight back for her. She ducks, and it jumps over her into the ocean and gets propellered by the ferry boat.
Yes, it's so disturbing. And I forgot about that part. And then when I watched it the other day, I feel like that scene is so much louder than all the
Yeah.
other scenes. And so I was very traumatized by it.
I didn't forget about it, but I think when I watched this movie a million years ago, I didn't really understand what any of that had to do with anything, the horse
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like this go around, I got it a little bit more. I don't know if I still know what it really means, but I feel like I got it a little bit more.
Yeah.
What made more sense this time?
Well, probably because I took a million notes, so I was like
Mhm.
looking at it in a more like analytical way instead of just like a covering my face way.
Yeah.
About how it's like she comes back with this baby, and you know, animals are good like
Yeah, they're
judges
sensitive.
of characters, and the horses just start freaking out and are like, I would rather kill myself.
Well, especially when you realize that she lived in the barn, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
they're
Oh.
tormented by her all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian Cox says something about how horses are more sensitive or something. He's
Yeah.
like, they see things before we do.
And he seems to really love the horses.
Oh, he loves those horses.
I feel like he's a good guy, except there's that one moment where he like hits her. What does he do?
Yeah, he hits her.
With what?
It seemed like it was like a horse reins.
Okay.
Like because they were all kind of like, you know, when you like take it and you kind of fold it up in your hand.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me because he was surrounded by like all his horse stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't her mouth bloody when that happened? And then the very next scene, she looked perfect.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that her mouth was bloody.
I didn't notice that either. Maybe because she's just always perfect
Yeah.
to me.
It's true.
That it didn't
Now I
seem
want
out
to
of
go
place.
back and see.
Yeah, maybe I'm lying. Don't quote me on that.
Take it out. You might be right. No, we didn't, because you're not
Well, this movie
claiming that it's
has
necessary. like
has a recurring thing that I love in horror movies where it says the day of the week, like The
Yeah.
Shining.
I like it here. I don't always love it. I really like it here.
I love
Yeah.
it. It keeps you on track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Day
there's a
one,
real
day
ticking
two.
clock. Like, and you
Yes.
know why you're keeping track. You're like, she's got 7 days, and that's it.
Well, and I appreciate that we keep track of her clock, but we don't keep track of Noah's clock.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
like that it trusts us. It's like, well, he's a day behind her.
Yeah.
But then it also makes it so that when he does die, it is a little bit surprising because
Oh,
you
not for
weren't-
me. I'm fully like, this is Noah's day 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
was
like
I was
definitely-
ready.
I feel like
yeah.
I forget about his clock as much. I like it's in there, but it's not as much. Just because I'm not seeing the countdown, that I'm
Seeing
like
her
more
countdown gives
forgiving.
me exactly where Noah is and exactly where Aiden is.
Yeah,
I'm like,
'cause
you have day
one
8
day-
and day 9.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, I didn't remember what day Aiden saw it.
Yeah. I think
It
it's,
was the very next day.
yeah. I think they're all a day
I love the
apart.
scene where Aiden sees it and she rips the tape out
Yeah.
and
Screams.
She screams and throws it under the couch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also that she doesn't explain anything to him. She's not like, this is a
Go to
bad.
your room.
She's like, why did you watch this?
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep.
She's like, no.
Yeah.
So good.
And
She
also,
is
why
really
did
good.
that kid, when he couldn't sleep, just turns on this random movie?
Yeah.
Just so happens to. And he's like, yeah, I'll watch this. This
Yeah.
looks intriguing.
And the
There's
innkeeper's
nothing else
lucky.
in the house. What is he going to do?
Yeah.
She's got no entertainment for him.
No food. He's just this malnourished, abused little
Also,
child.
I was noticing that they show the label of Skippy, and I'm like, oh, did Skippy pay them
Wait,
to put that in?
what?
When he's
Oh,
making
oh,
the
the
sandwich.
peanut butter.
Yeah,
I
because
thought you
usually
meant on the
can't
tape.
do
I
the
see.
you
Yeah.
can't show labels.
Right.
So it's like
I
huh,
also
it's
love
very
when
deliberate.
Noah watches the video,
Mm-hmm.
then her phone rings, and
She deletes it.
yeah, they don't
I love
answer it,
that.
and then there's a message, and she deletes the message, and like part of me so bad wants to hear like just the idea of a ghost like being like, and then like having to hear like you've reached Rachel, like
Yeah.
the ghost is like, come on,
Yeah.
7 days.
I like that she deletes it because the same way that we're like, what happens if you only watch part of the tape? And there's a part of me that's like, what happens if you don't answer the phone call? And it just answers that question of, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's coming for you no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do wonder if the call has to happen. Like if you don't have a phone, what happens?
Mm-hmm. Everyone gets a call on their home phone.
Yeah. But what if
So
you don't
I'm like,
have
well,
one?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're
I
homeless?
What
guess
happens in
this is-
2019 when everyone has cell phones? I don't
Yeah.
think she can reach people on cell phones.
Yeah.
Rings came out 2 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
did you see that?
Yes, I did.
I saw that it has like a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
I
Oh,
watch
thought
all
you
these
meant Ring
movies.
camera. What do you?
Oh
What,
no,
what-
Rings was the third Ring movie
Okay.
that came out 2 years ago.
Gotcha. I was like, yeah, what about them? I have one.
yeah, you talked to me through
Well,
it.
then I used to
Yeah, we
always
do.
wonder, like, what would happen if you didn't have a TV when your time came? And then, like, you said the thing about the reflection. Because I was like, well, what happens? Does it just come out of, like, someone else's TV and the ghost has to, like, wander the street to wherever
Which is
you
why
are?
I thought there doesn't have to be a TV and that she only learns how to come out through it at the end. Like once she's freed.
But there
on
has
some
to be
level.
something because so if you're going to say that she didn't come out for Katie,
Mhm.
then what kills Katie is that the TV is on and she sees all those images in such a fast way that it, like, fries her brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there has to be a TV then anyway. There has to be something.
Well, or I thought potentially kind of like Final Destination style where like the car just the wheel starts turning and drives you into a tree or like things just start moving the same way.
I would say no only because we don't have any reason to think that. All the deaths we see involve TVs. So there's no reason to think like,
well,
maybe this one time there's not a TV.
Well, with the TV, it's all kind of essentially magic anyway. So to me, it stands to reason that
A TV appears.
or that she's just magic, that she, that
Yeah.
she has powers regardless of whether there's a TV there or not. Like, there's no water there, but water appears.
And
So-
everyone says that you see a ring before you
Yeah.
die. So maybe they just saw
Did
a
you see the
ring.
rings?
the coffee ring I
Yeah.
saw. What
Also, going back when the friends are like, I heard this rumor, they say that someone smiles at the end of the movie, and I don't see
Oh.
anyone smiling. No
Wait,
one
what are you
smiles
talking
at the end
about?
of the movie.
Oh,
In
interesting.
the Ring short film?
They say at the end. I remember.
Yeah.
I thought they were talking about that moment that the woman, the
Yeah,
mom,
because Anna
smiles at you.
The mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Anna sees you.
Oh.
Because I do remember as a kid, I don't remember how old I was, but I felt like a kid watching this, that when that part towards the end when Anna's in the mirror and she looks back and she sees you and she smiles, I was like, that's when it really, like, she knows you now. Like, if you, in my head, I was like, if you stop it before that, she doesn't see you.
But it's not her that's coming after you anyway.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
so scary.
I know, it is
It's so
really
scary
scary.
to see somebody, like, see you on a videotape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like, they know you're watching now.
Interesting.
Do you remember that moment when they're talking to that psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, and she says, asking about Anna, was there anything wrong with her? And she says, you mean medically? Or no, maybe she's asking about
Samara.
Samara.
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything wrong with her? She says, you mean medically? She says, I mean whatever you mean. And I love that answer because I'm like, yeah, I feel like there are times where as soon as somebody differentiates, you're like, I don't know what that means, but whatever you
Yeah,
mean.
what are you
I
talking
want- Yeah. Yeah. Like versus what?
Yeah.
That was a good
just
answer.
Tell me.
Yeah. Answer all versions of this question, I guess, because I didn't know there were multiple versions.
With
You
their
know?
relationship, her and Noah, I love when they get in that fight. And it's just like exposition, but it's like, this is the part where I say you're a flake that never finishes anything, and you say I'm an obsessive bitch who needs to lighten up, and then I storm off all pissed off. So why don't we just cut to that? And it's like, okay, cool. We're not going to deal with their relationship. We're just going to tell you. This
Yeah.
is like, this
Yeah,
is
I
why it
love
never
that.
worked out.
Yeah.
I love
That
that
was
too.
There's so much like, it's like an interesting way to be like, we want there to be character development, but we don't have time. So like, we're going to tell you
Well-
stuff so that you don't have to see it. You'll just know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Like, that's the moment I love so much with his assistant that comes in, who prefers partner in crime, because it's so economical. It's so quick. They don't explain it, but you just see this is uncomfortable. He doesn't want her to know that
he's dating someone who's much younger.
Yeah.
That works for him.
Right. And he doesn't want Naomi Watts to know, and she's uncomfortable about it.
Also,
but then she still protects her later, which is nice.
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
She lets her go find Noah.
yeah.
No, she protects her before that from the tape.
From the video.
She takes
because
the tape.
that
Also-
ending, I think, is so brutal that she sees the
I love
assistant
it.
coming. She gets in the elevator and she's like, cool, I'll let her discover the body and call the police.
Yeah. I love that, though, because she doesn't have time. She's got to go save her son.
I
She
know,
doesn't
but
have time
it
to,
is,
like, explain. And it's much more, I was going to say skeptical, but you know what I mean? Like, implicating if she's like, there's a body, but I have to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that's her reasoning was like,
But
she
also
just
to have
didn't
them,
wanna
like-
deal with that.
Include that scene, I think, is so interesting because
Yeah.
it shows that Naomi Watts is now willing to, like, sacrifice people
Yeah.
to save her son, which is
Yes.
building towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that when her and Noah were in there and the assistant comes in and he's like, do you want to watch this? And she takes it and she's like, you can't. That could have saved Noah.
Oh, no, wait.
Right.
No, because you have to make a copy.
Yeah, but like they were making a copy. And so
Yeah.
that would have worked, but instead she did that with.
So here's where I
That's
get really
interesting.
confused.
Yeah.
Because does he physically have to make a copy and then give it to someone?
I
Right.
think so.
Do you have
'Cause
to
they
make
only
a
make
copy
one
and
copy,
show it
right?
to someone? Or can you just...
Because she makes a copy of the original tape, which I love is labeled copy,
Yeah.
so for us to keep track of. And then she shows the copy to Noah.
Yeah. Would it have
So-
been enough if you just showed him the video, I wonder?
I don't think so is the thing.
Yeah.
Because I think, oh wait, here's what I think it is.
It's so confusing.
She makes a copy. So I think she shows Noah the original because she shows him the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And then she makes a copy of the tape. And then Aiden sees her copy. And I think
Right.
that's the viewing that saves her, not the Noah viewing.
Yeah. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Part of me is like, maybe it's even as simple as making a copy and leaving it somewhere where somebody could find it. It's just the point is that you're not destroying the tape. You're not destroying the story. It's like...
You're making more.
Mhm.
Because you could
babies.
say,
Yeah.
like, no, you can't say that. I'm sorry. My brain is like trying to figure out this movie.
Yeah.
But because then at the end, she's like, what did I do different? I made a copy.
Yeah.
So it's not just showing somebody. You have to physically make a copy of the tape.
Well, she says that, but she doesn't actually know. She's guessing.
But I think that's what they're telling us because
I think
Noah
so too. But it's
doesn't
still...
make a copy.
Right. But he also doesn't show it to anybody else.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He was trying to show it to the assistant.
Right.
And so I feel like that was.
If he had, maybe
I
that would
feel
have
like,
been...
yeah, I feel like he would have survived. But I
Does
don't know. It kind
her-
of confuses my brain.
Yeah.
Does her haunting stuff get less after Aiden sees it? I
What do
can't
you mean?
remember when does she pull out the hair with the sticker
Oh,
from her
yeah.
Oh, I
throat?
think
God, that
that's-
part's so scary.
Yeah, I think that's after. Right?
Was
Because
it hair? I
that-
thought it was just cords.
Yeah, but it looks like hair to me. It always looks
Yeah.
like Samara's hair to
Yeah,
me.
it does to me too. But
Because then later, when you see she finds the cords with the stickers at Brian Cox's, the
Right.
cords are cords. But when it comes up her throat, it looks like a braid of hair almost.
Uh-huh.
yeah, maybe they
It's
kind
very
of marry
wiry.
those two images on purpose.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's a combination.
because it's Samara. And she picks the fly out of the teeth. There's so many scary things.
Oh
in
my
this
gosh, I think
story.
we have to watch The Ring 2 with you now. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can talk, because it does get more into Samara's origins. I was reading that she is adopted, but it's weird. They make it seem like that they're pretending she's adopted.
Yeah, that's why I got confused with the birth certificate because everyone knows
Yeah.
she's adopted. So why have a live birth certificate
Yeah.
that says that he's the dad?
It says on this one site, The Ring explains that Samara is adopted by Anna and Richard Morgan, who own a horse ranch on Moesco Island, Washington. As Samara grows older, her powers burn horrible images into her adoptive mother's mind, nearly driving her insane. Richard banishes Samara to live in the ranch's barn, but she uses her powers to drive Anna's beloved horses to suicide. At some point, Samara is taken to a psychiatric hospital, but the doctors are unable to explain how she created the images. Oh, this is not what I was looking for. Sorry. The Ring 2 expands upon Samara's backstory. Her mother, a woman named Evelyn, believed that her daughter had a demon inside her and tried to drown the girl, but she was prevented by nuns. Evelyn is sent to an insane asylum, while Samara was put up for adoption. In the film's present timeline, Samara deliberately manipulates the tape to get back to Rachel, having decided to make Rachel her new mother. After Rachel burns the tape...
This is all sounding familiar because I did see that.
Oh, I see.
These are
Right.
lots of spoilers
this
for The
is-
Ring too.
I'll cut some of that out. We'll leave it. But that she was put up for adoption.
Oh, we did have the moment of he's right behind you in this.
She's right behind you?
No, he's right
Oh,
behind
yeah,
you.
Brian
Brian Cox.
Yeah.
I love that too,
Oh.
where it's like you keep seeing behind her, and it's the light from the lighthouse is making it go light dark,
Yeah.
light
Yeah,
dark.
and that freaked me out. I was like, something's about to
Yeah,
happen.
you're waiting for him to
Yeah.
appear behind her because you're like, she's in his house
Mhm.
without his permission.
Yeah.
It's funny, that moment wasn't scary to me just because I was like, yay, more Brian Cox.
Yeah.
I was so happy to have
Coming
him
back.
back. Yeah. But his suicide is, I think, so heartbreaking.
Mhm.
But I do love that he commits suicide, and then Noah's like, "We gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't about us."
All he does, he looks in and he's like, Jesus. And then they just cut.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting that she hasn't killed him. And he knows about the tape, but he hasn't seen it.
Oh, the dad?
Yeah. Samara never kills Brian Cox.
Mhm.
No, maybe she just wants him to live with it.
Maybe.
Like live
Yeah.
without your horses and your wife. That's your hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he says something like, she won't get out of my head. She,
Mhm.
Like her whispers.
And he won't
never-
watch the video
Yeah.
because
Well,
she's like,
he's
"Aren't you
right.
curious?" And he's no.
And he says it's like a disease that you want to spread. Not disease, but it's like pain that you want to share with everyone. Basically calling
Yeah.
journalists just like spreaders of this disease of
Of
pain.
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they end up back at the cabin. I love kind of how this feels like a ghost story of like, oh, this is all leading us towards something because she wants to be, her body wants to be found or whatever. It's like leading you to a normal conclusion that makes sense in a ghost world. Then she has that whole moment where we see what happened and you think Samara's the victim. And Naomi Watts is like holding her and she's a little girl again. And it's like, I'm cradling
And the way she
you.
deteriorates in her
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah, and he's screaming, "The sunset! Like you made it!"
Yeah.
And it's like this happy moment.
Wait, why was the sunset? I was confused about that. I
That
thought
was
it gonna
when
be
she
10
watched
PM. Oh, I guess they just watched
She
it. 10
watched because she says, "I watched it at sunset when the
Oh, I see, I
tree
see.
went orange."
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh. Wait, was he, when he was screaming, that was he was rejoicing? Because I thought he was like, oh no, you're about to die.
No,
I
he
think
was
he
like,
was
"Are
trying
you
to
still
figure
alive?
out-
Are you
yeah,
still alive? It's
exactly.
past sunset."
He's saying like, if you're alive, you're alive. Like you're golden.
did it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, where you find the nail too in the well, meaning she tried to
Oh.
climb out.
I know, and the like, why couldn't the mom at least just like suffocate her first and then throw her in instead of?
I think she thought
I
she
know.
did.
It was very short.
Yeah. Also, I was looking it up online. Like, that would be very hard to live for 7 days in a well.
Yeah.
Because she would be half. I mean,
Well, you'd
you
have
can
water.
Drink you can drink the well water, but I guess it's the well. I was just like, would I drink it? No, I would. Because well water is good, right? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Well, all that stuff, it wraps up all that of like, why 7 days?
right.
Because
I
he
like
says that, doesn't he? He's like, why 7 days? Oh, no,
No, he
says,
says, how long would it take you to die down there? And she says, 7 days.
7
And then they do that
days.
thing I don't like where she repeats it, where she goes, it would take 7 days. It's like
I
we got
love
it
it.
from
Yeah,
just 7 days.
I felt like you can already get that from context. clues.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
agree.
have picked up on that if
Oh,
they
I-
hadn't said it.
I would have by the end.
Because I loved that whole thing. Because to me, it feels like I watched the show like Supernatural, which is they would do like Monsters of the Week and they'd be ghosts and there'd be a beginning and it'd be this kind of thing where you lead down a trail and then you have to like burn the bones and then everything's happy. And I
Mhm.
feel like this movie does that where we have that whole thing and she's like, it was 7 days. And then they're holding hands in the car and Aiden's like, my parents are getting back together. And
Yeah.
it's like this really happy
And
ending.
he's like, call me tomorrow. And the day after that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's an
Oh, yeah.
episode of Supernatural or something. And then that scene where Aiden wakes up and he's like, "What? So what happened?"
Yeah.
And they say like, "We set her free," and he's
Mhm.
like, "Why? Why? You weren't supposed to do that."
Yeah.
Also, how does
So
he know
scary.
that?
I know. Well, she
I think
talks
that's
to
another
him.
scary trope thing.
Yeah.
of,
Yeah, the
like
kid.
kids. Yeah, kids can always talk to the
Yes.
dead,
Yeah.
like evil spirits and stuff.
They know more than the adults do.
Yeah,
They're picking
Because they're
up
more
on
susceptible.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's such a creepy turn. It's so good. I mean,
It's so scary. That part always scares me. You
The-
weren't supposed to let her out.
yes, I just
Yeah.
love that twist of you think, oh, she finally put it together. It's this poor tortured child. And then it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Also, why doesn't Aiden say that earlier, though?
I know.
Instead, he's like, oh, she's like,
You
we
weren't
feel
supposed
bad.
to do that.
But it's,
Well,
yeah.
fucking tell me that.
You know why?
then.
Because he's making his own peanut butter fucking sandwiches. He's,
Yeah.
he's
He has a lot
ironing
going
her
on.
clothes.
He
He's got a
does.
full day. Okay.
It's so true.
She could do one thing, which is figure out this mystery.
Yeah, he thought he gave her too much credit.
Yeah.
I really feel like we got to watch The Ring 2 now because I want to figure out Samara's origins. I really do have questions about why they make it seem like they pretended it was an adoption, but then The Ring 2 seems to confirm that it was an adoption.
That stuff I
know.
don't really, it's always tricky because it's like The Ring is its own thing, and then The Ring 2, is that canon, or is that someone like retconning the ending?
Yeah.
Like,
Was it the same?
Well,
I gotta look up who
I
want to
watch the Japanese version because that
Yeah.
has really good rating. It's like a 97%.
We
on
should.
Rotten
We should
Tomatoes.
do Ringu.
okay,
And
here's why I
also-
don't want to watch it.
Why?
It doesn't have Naomi Watts.
Okay, true. But I heard that the screenwriter from that movie, the original, helped
Mhm.
write the second movie.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
Interesting.
So it
Doesn't
probably is
say
canon.
Who wrote this one? Let's see. Ring 2.
Gore Verbinski directed it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the second one is Hideo Nakata, but I don't know who wrote the second one. The writer of the first one is Aaron Kruger. Aaron. I don't know if that's how you say it. EHREN. I'm just gonna-
The scene where she comes out of the TV, though. I
Oh
just
my
didn't.
God.
I remember when I first saw this, like, I just didn't even know that that's where you could go in a movie.
Yeah, was not
so
expecting
good.
that. And
I remembered it so vividly, and then when the movie was almost over, I was like, maybe I saw a sequel, and then I was like, oh no, here.
Well,
it
then they
goes.
like, I just remember them parodying it on everything afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's so scary.
I guess
And that
that's why
guy's
it's
reactions,
embedded. Yeah, it's embedded
Yeah.
in my brain.
where he's like so close to the TV, and then she jumps out and he like jumps backwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he sells it.
He's really good, and everybody's so good. Okay, what do you guys think happens then? I have no idea, but maybe you guys have theories that make their faces look like that. What actually
It's
happens?
yeah.
terror. That's how I take it. It's like they're literally scared to death.
Yes, but it looks like disfigured.
Yeah, it just looks blurry and
Which is how their
weird.
faces look when they're taken, their pictures are
Oh.
taken.
Right. It does.
Oh, do you think it's like, this is so stupid. Do you think, because like, okay, so that thing keeps happening where they take whenever you get your picture taken, your face is blurry.
Mhm.
Like if you were underwater.
Ah.
Oh.
Very
Or is that dumb?
interesting.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I like that.
Can we just try? What do you guys think about the phone? How does she call people? Why?
Yeah.
And why? And what is
Yeah.
happening with the phone? How is that?
It does feel kind of
logical?
unnecessary. Although it's a fun tie-in that the last thing you see before you die is a ring, and then the phone rings to tell you you're
Yeah.
going to die.
I think it's
And
like
then
a
it's
fear of
cyclical,
technology.
And the way to not die is to keep perpetuating the cycle.
Yeah,
That's
which
true.
that was what I read was like the ring is supposed to refer to the fact that it's what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That it's a cycle, not to the fact that you like get a phone call.
Yeah,
But that was like a happy accident.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the ring is what you see because of the well being covered, which I love that. I think that's just such a
Oh,
creepy,
yeah.
lasting image.
But
Yeah.
I think it's like a fear of technology.
Yeah.
It's coming out of the TV. It's using your telephone.
That's a good answer.
It's like all these things that are safe become scary
Yeah.
when a ghost has access to them.
Interesting.
But you're anti the phone call.
Well, I just think it's a little ridiculous. I think that it's very scary. I just don't see the logic
Yeah.
in it.
I think what's so good about the phone call is there's that thing of like, I just saw the video. What, am I gonna die? And then the phone's like, yes.
Well, you know what?
Like, yes, we tracked that you just saw this.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
we're
gonna
keeping tally.
Theoretically, and I don't agree with this because I think it is very scary in the movie, but theoretically, it would be more scary to not have the phone call because then we all leave the theater and we're like, we're going to die. Whereas the saving grace is you're like, I don't have a phone call saying 7 days.
I
I'm
totally
okay.
thought by the end when the credits started that there would be a ring
Mm.
of the phone.
But right, like
'Cause
it
it's
seems
like,
like
we
it'd be
just saw it.
scarier not to have it because then we feel less safe. But
I
it
love
is
it.
very effective. I'm just trying
I-
to figure out why.
Yeah, I read that in the VHS version, which is what I watched was a VHS version. But if you get to the end credits, they do that video again.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, and then the ring at the end.
They play the video one more time.
Yeah.
Well, there's a cool thing on the DVD feature I read where it said like there's one of them is you watch the whole video for the ring. It's like one of the special features.
Yeah.
But once you play it, it won't stop or anything. You have to physically turn off the DVD player if you want it to stop.
Oh
I
my
read that
gosh.
too. It's so creepy.
That's so creepy. It's so good. We are almost out of time, so I want to ask my favorite question, unless anybody has something they want to add first.
No,
Any
let's
last
get
things you want to
no.
say?
I've only said a million things.
Okay, great.
I'm so excited
This is
about
such a
this
fun one,
movie.
and we really want to have you
Yeah.
back for Ringu, even though it doesn't have Naomi Watts.
Yeah, I'm like, did I talk too much? I hope not.
No, I
No,
don't think so.
no.
But
It
we
was
want to have you back, and we want to have you for February. But we'll talk about that
Thank
later.
you. Okay.
If you were anyone in this movie, who would you be? Like, who do you think you are? I guess you could say who would you wish you were, but also who do you think you are?
I wish I was Aiden. I want to be a genius child.
Yeah.
I actually, well, okay, if we're talking about looks, I mean, Naomi Watts, of course.
Yes. Sexy.
Definitely. I would take Noah back. I don't care if he's a bad dad.
He's so hot.
Yeah.
He's
so
coming
hot.
around at the end.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. There's like the promise of the happy family.
And then he fucking dies.
A gruesome, wet death.
What death. Hot. Yeah, I think I want to relate to Aiden. I want to relate to the only adult in the movie, which is a child.
Jessica?
Oh, I would probably be Becca.
Mm.
I would have like gotten suckered into this whole thing, and now I'm living my life in a mental institution, and I have nothing to do with it. Like, what the fuck?
My fear is that I'm Samara.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I'm like half adopted and I did drugs and drank and was like kind of a nightmare for my mom. And they probably just thought I was like an evil child. And then sometimes I wonder if I am. But
Oh, and then you used to have long dark hair,
I
right?
did.
So
You
that
said
covered
long
your
dark
face.
hair.
And
It was weird that you always did that.
it was always wet. Just ran grease through it.
Put all of your hair in the front.
Is there, what do you guys think is the scariest moment from the movie?
Her
I-
crawling out?
Yeah, that is
Ugh.
really scary. For me, I think it's still the flash to the daughter's face in the closet. Oh.
That's true. Yeah, that's very scary.
It's what
image.
stayed with me for the
I
longest.
think it's for me, it's the very beginning when Amber Tamlin is on like, she's upstairs and the floor is wet and you see her reflection and the door is dripping and she opens the door and you just see a flash and then the movie starts.
Mm-hmm.
Something about, like, to me, I don't know why, but I'm like, you can't top that because I have no idea what's happening and I'm terrified.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you have more context later.
And there's no credits. There's no opening credits for the
Right.
movie.
Yeah, which
Which
is
is also
freaky.
terrifying.
Yeah,
It's great.
It's
I love
like,
that.
we're not going to let you remember this is fake.
yeah.
Do you have anything you want to promote?
Nope.
Great. Do you want people to follow you on social media?
Man, social media freaks me out and gives me so much anxiety.
Fear
But
of
if-
technology.
Yeah, that's why I chose this movie. If you want to follow me, it's at Christina Kartchner. If you want.
What a sell.
Yeah, only if you want. And that's spelled CHRISTINAKARTCHNER. Hope you got that. Thank you.
Oh, I do want to say one last thing, which is interesting about
I'm
this in the
picking up on
context.
a weird, like, ringing sound, by the way. Which
think
is
it's the
fine,
problem,
but I
yeah.
think it adds to the episode. If you can hear it, listener.
But one thing in the context of like horror in America is this movie spawned all the like Japanese remakes. Then we had The Grudge and like One
Yes.
Missed Call and all these movies after it that I just think, you know,
Which
so-
are
yeah.
so
all
good.
PG-13, so I could watch
Crazy.
all of them, and
Oh.
they're all scary.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have to have you back. You're great. And we had to rush this one a little bit. So
Thank you so
We
much.
need,
I loved it.
well, first of all, you can find us at He's Right Behind You podcast on Instagram. And then, Christina, since you did such a great sell for your own social media, would you tell people why they should follow us and leave us 5 stars and a nice review?
Oh God, you should follow them because they're nice people and they're both pretty and
Aw, thanks.
so
Yay.
so you'll want to look at them.
And 5 stars?
5 stars. Give them 4.5. Can you do that?
I don't
Yeah,
think
okay.
so. I think it's
Oh.
only 4 or 5. There's no halves.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I would take the 4.
Okay. Give them 4. They deserve 4. Make them humble.
And write a review.
You're making me explain so much. Write a review saying that
That this was your favorite of all
that
the
this
episodes.
was- yeah, that Christina is really humble and smart and pretty and
I do love reviews that are like, I listened for this guest, and this is my review of the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so boring. Thumbs down.
no.
No.
You were great, and I love this movie. It was a great pick. I feel like I have achieved something since I could sleep last night
Yeah.
after watching it.
Yeah. I had to
Oh,
watch
nice.
Little Women after I watched this.
The new one?
Yeah.
How was it?
It's good.
Oh, let's wrap this up,
Okay.
though.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, wait.
I loved it.
Did you sleep after you watched?
I did. I love to sleep.
And you slept well? No nightmares?
Oh, better.
I did sleep with my TV off last night, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't leave it on.
That makes
Actually,
sense.
I went
given
down
the
a-
movie.
True
Yeah.
crime rabbit hole at 2 in the morning. And I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I fall asleep to Forensic Files.
Love it.
Oh, I do remember when this came out, I still had a TV with an antenna in my bedroom. And sometimes it would like go to static. That's just a thing. And
so
then
creepy.
after this movie, I was like, fuck that. I need a new TV.
No more. Thank you. Next week, our episode is
I don't know.
the movie Raw.
No, I'm not excited to watch that one.
And I think we're going to try and do 2 episodes a week for February for the month of lovers. And we'll probably have Christina back with her lover.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Very
stay
Taylor
tuned
Swift
for that.
with your lover.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for listening.
7 days.
Until our next episode comes out.
That was Christina
Yay.
laughing because we're so funny.
So stupid.